Okay, today I'm going to a ribbon cutting, and I've never been to one of those. There's the ribbon. How exciting! And they have a ID for.
Yeah, this car. We're having a ride and drive next week. Yeah, it will. So what's happening today? All I
Gotta get some of those donuts and coffee. Look at that.
We have a very short program. Hope everyone won't mind it being a little cozy. Welcome to Zozo Group. Welcome to Women Who Charge's pilot program for charging stations. My name is Lashida. I'm the executive director, founder for Women Who Charge, and I also run Zozo Group. So Women Who Charge is a nonprofit. We advocate for charging stations, safe charging stations where women actually want to charge, and the expansion of the electric vehicle industry as a whole. So it encompasses a lot of things. But this is one of our first activities. It's a bit more of a permanent installation that we're really proud of. And we, hands down, no pun intended, could not have done this without key partners. And I'm hoping that you'll hear from them a little bit later. Like I said, this is a quick program, less than 30 minutes. You can hang out and explore the car, but we know we've got some really important time schedules to stay on top of here today. So I'd like to tell you a little bit about the program, a little bit about Women Who Charge, and then we'll invite our special guests up to wrap us up, and then we'll cut the ribbon. Okay? This pilot workplace charging program started, and it's a pleasure to have our special guest. You'll hear today from Grace Rink, the executive director with Climate Action Sustainability and Resiliency, otherwise known as CASM. That's what we call it. And Paul Cashman with City Council Office for District 6, and Uma with Excel Energy will be talking with you in just a moment. But first, I'm going to tell you a little bit about the program, and I have a few notes here just to make sure that I don't ramble on too long. While we're passionate about encouraging the growth of the electric vehicle space, we understand that one of the missing threads in the fabric of charging stations, especially for women, is access to workplace charging. Workplace charging is the second safest place for us to charge from our perspective, right? This is a woman's perspective. Sometimes it's like, I want to go and plug in where it's most safe. First safest place is if you can charge at home. Second safest place is if you can charge at work. Third safest place is all of the other things that are available around the city. It's not to say that those are the only ones, but those are how we sort of, in my mind, in my daughter's mind, in my aunt's mind, that's how we categorize safe places to charge. So we are looking for ways to partner with small businesses, small building owners, to build out a workplace charging program for their employees, and to come up with a way for them to fund the rest of the program by offering public charging that they can make some revenue to cover the cost of maintaining the charging stations. It's one thing to get them built, it's a whole nother thing to keep them running. So we recognize that as a challenge, and we're looking for ways to build out a program that we can duplicate at other small businesses. So it's a little thinking outside of the box. I'm comfortable with that. We're going to try it. Maybe it works, maybe it doesn't. Maybe we find some ways to improve, or some ways for other of our partners to help make sure that these are everlasting and sustainable setups. Okay? So it's an important thread in this fabric of an EV charging environment that will help to support the transition over to EVs. That's what we're most excited about. Some highlights of the program. Not only do we encourage the installation of these charging stations, but outside of business hours, these charging stations will be available for the public to use. So once Zozo Group employees leave for the day, the public can use these charging stations. But we got what are called non-networked chargers. Non-network chargers mean a lot of things, but yeah, you gotta make an electric truck.
Seriously,
I'm just saying, case in point. But our non-network chargers that we got from Tesla are available to be used for all cars because they have a basic CCS charger. Technical term basically means you don't have to drive a Tesla in order to use these chargers. All cars can use these chargers. But they don't have a credit card swipe option on them, right? So literally when we turn on the switch inside our building, this is the different model. This is the model that is unlike all the other models, right? In this case, you pay to park, and as a part of parking, you get access to charging. So we basically will be adopting the same model that you have for a parking lot service, where you pay to park, but as a part of that service, you also can charge your car. We need to work out a few more kinks on the payment process and how we navigate enforcing that throughout the day, because at first you're just like, it's charging. It's 22 cents a kilowatt hour. If you need to charge, come and charge. But after a while, you'll be like, as a business model, that's not helping me to support the funding that I need to maintain this. So we're working on that. So this is what we call a pay-to-park system with access to charging. So as we move through this, it will be Women Who Charge is setting up a pay-to-park system with access to charging. It took us a year to get this done. So this is a little background. From the time we started having conversations with Tesla, understanding the programs that were available through Xcel Energy, but what really helped to get this jump started was the commitment that we got from the Climate Action Office of the City of Denver. Because, you know, all of those other things were parts, but with the partnership with Climate Action Office, we were able to get 90% of the cost to install these covered. That's substantial. When you're a small business and you're looking at a $20,000 investment as a benefit for your employees, it's a big rock to swallow. So thanks to the help from Kaiser, Xcel Energy, and Tesla was what made this happen. So about a year ago, we started having conversations around funding. Then we had to pull permits. Wow, it's almost like that's the P word. You know, you used to have like a really bad, the F word, now it's like the P word. And we moved through the installation process. We had to find an electrician that was familiar enough and understood the process. And then inspections, which was another fun waiting game. But we have survived it, and now we're here. And soon we'll get to cut the ribbon to make it official that these are open. We've learned a lot of lessons. We haven't even had the ribbon cutting, and we've already run into challenges. Within 2 weeks of passing inspections, our cables were cut. So someone walked by and with cable cutters walked off with half the charging station.
Because there's
copper. They left one for us. They left one, and they did it in less than 45 seconds. I mean, it was so fast. We caught it on camera. Woohoo! I know what the guy looks like. There's not much, right? Like, it gets, so here we are. It's another lesson learned about what it takes to keep these maintained. And when we run across people that are commenting about the fact that accessing working charging stations is a challenge, we're living it now. Despite how motivated we are, because this is the very beginning, I would have loved to have gotten these charging stations ready today. Ideally, they would have been on, all three of them would be working today, but the fact is that it's hard to get an electrician to come out in a short time. Tesla has been very supportive, but we needed, all of those things take time. So here we are, we have 3 charging stations, but only 1 is working. And this is a reflection of what you see around the city. So our next steps, we're refining security. And we're also working on settling some agreements for the payment options for the pay for parking. Okay, so we're almost ready to launch this to the public. In the meantime, it'll just be available for our employees as workplace charging. So next, without much further ado, I'd like to introduce Grace Rink, who's the Executive Director with City and County of Denver's Climate Action Office, to say a few words. And thank you.
Thank you. Well, thank you very much, Lashida, and congratulations on this major achievement. So I'm Grace Rink, the Chief Climate Officer, your Chief Climate Officer for City and County of Denver, and Executive Director of our Office of Climate Action, Sustainability, and Resiliency. And our office is thrilled to have been able to contribute some of the money that helped make this project happen. It's through our Certifiably Green Denver program, but Lashida, the blood, sweat, and tears are all yours. So you made this happen. Certifiably Green Denver is our sustainable business support program, or outreach program. And in 2022, our office was able to provide over 30 small businesses majority owned by minority people, over $300,000 in these small grants to make their sustainability projects possible. And I want you to know that program is open again this year. So all you have to do is Google Denver Sustainability. You'll find our website. On social, we're at Denver CASR, so Denver CASR, and so you'll find information about the program there. And most of these mini grants are less than $10,000, and that may not seem like a lot of money, especially certainly not to big businesses, but to small businesses doing small but meaningful projects, it really has a tremendous impact. It is the difference between being able to do a project like this and not being able to do it at all. Now, the goal of Women Who Charge is fully aligned with the mission of our agency. The transportation sector generates 30% of Denver's greenhouse gas emissions, and it's the #1 source of air pollution in the city. And so we know that we need to reduce emissions from that sector in order to meet our climate goals. And obviously, giving more people access to electric vehicle charging is part of that. It's a bit of a chicken and egg, right? We think that consumers aren't necessarily going to purchase these cars if they think they can't charge everywhere. And then you need businesses willing to put them in before people are actually there to use them. So we appreciate the investment by business, knowing that this change is coming and they're willing to put in this infrastructure. And I think that your take on it is very interesting in especially looking at the needs of women drivers and what do they need to feel safe. We know also that women make the majority of car purchasing decisions in the United States. And so if we really want to support the market for electric vehicles, supporting women in being comfortable and excited about these vehicles, access to charging is a really important part of that. And I would also add that although many drivers can charge at home, there's an almost equal number of drivers who can't. They are people who live in apartment buildings or they live in homes that don't have off-street parking. And so by providing this after hours for folks who live around here or might just be traveling through on this very busy road, this is a tremendous asset that again adds to that network that we need around the city. So, and employers, of course, who follow your lead and hopefully take your services by installing chargers in their parking lots, it will benefit in a lot of different ways. For one, recruitment and retention, the labor market's really tight right now. So all the different benefits that one employer can provide that distinguishes them from another could be really beneficial to their hiring and keeping those employees. It's also great in working with customers, right? If I have a choice, if I'm driving my electric vehicle and I have a choice to go to, one place where I'm able to charge and buy the things I need versus a place that doesn't have that charging need, I will choose the one that has the charging station, and that will help drive business to that company and away from a competitor. And some might actually be able to use this as a revenue stream eventually, right? Or depending on their style, like their business plan, it could eventually be a revenue stream on its own as well. So I congratulate you and your whole team on taking this on. It is not a small endeavor, and like you said, you're going to have these challenges that we can't solve, unfortunately, until you experience them. Then we know how to come up with solutions to solve that problem. So congratulations again, and thank you for making this happen.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Grace. And next we have Paul Cashman, City Councilman for District 6. Thank you, Paul.
Good morning. It's good to see everybody here. Before I get into my prepared remarks, I was thinking about women who charge, and a Denver City Council right now, you should be aware, is women in majority, where will be a minimum, will be in the minimum of the new council will be 7 to 6, depending on how the runoffs go. It could be as a large situation as 11 to 2. We'll all know that in June. And as we all know, we could have a woman in charge in the mayor's office. But as well, women are in charge in Denver City Council right now. Our council president is Jamie Torres from District 3. Our president pro tem is Amanda Sandoval from District 1. So you're in good hands. I want to thank Lashida for the invitation. Thank you so much. Thanks to Grace Rink and her work. Members of her team are here. CASR has become a regional and national leader in innovative programs addressing the impacts of climate change. It's something we can all be proud of. And today I'm equally proud to be here with an emerging leader in the area of civic environmental responsibility and innovation with Women Who Charge. Across the city and across District 6, which is, District 6 basically goes from Broadway over to Quebec Street, Leedsdale down to Yale or Harvard. We see businesses and individuals and even government agencies innovating and doing their part to address the impacts of climate change, whether it's residents buying in to our newly expanded recycling, composting efforts, or turning from gas-guzzling autos to electric vehicles. Just drove by on my way over here. The Harvard Gulch Recreation Center has begun a community solar program, building solar over the parking lot by the recreation center. So everybody is doing their best to do their part. You know, it is interesting being here on planet Earth as a time after decades of celebrating the gas-guzzling auto and fossil-fueled homes to move into this new era where we're turning to sources of renewable energy, both for electrifying our homes and our modes of transportation. The installation of these three chargers at one level may seem a meager effort, but in reality, it's so far from that. It's actually a transformative effort, not only an individual responsibility, but Women Who Charge is acting as a role model for what we all need to do. We all need to play our part. We can't look at, oh, what does my little contribution do at all? We have to, in Denver, be leaders, whether we're residents, whether we're businesses, or whether we're acting as representatives in city government. So I'm truly pleased and honored to be here to celebrate with you and to celebrate your dedication to playing part of the solution. So thank you all for being here.
And also with us today, we have a representative from Xcel Energy, Yuma. Thank you so much for joining us. She has a few remarks, and then we'll move on to the energy. So thank you for being here.
Thank you, and I'll keep it short. We're so honored to be part of Lashida's project. I'm Huma Seth. I'm with Xcel Energy, the Director of Clean Transportation. And our team's goal is just to have programs for all of our customers. So like Lashida mentioned, we have programs for our workplace charging customers, residential. But one I really want to touch on is small businesses. We're really committed to help promoting an equitable energy transition. We always hear about energy transition, but we want to make sure that all of our customers are part of this energy transition. So the small business rebate is a really good opportunity to provide EV charging for your customers. So ideal for like coffee shops, spas, salons. You know, if you want between 1 to 3 EV chargers, we actually help, pay $2,500 per quart. And so this is a program that Zozo Group is also taking part in. And then in addition to that, we also have programs to support the cost of the charger itself. So the wiring can be a really big investment, but then you also have to pay for the charger. And so we have programs for businesses that support low-income communities, high-emission communities. So we can just stack rebates depending on how much support the customer needs. So it's a really good opportunity. And then the other thing that we recognize is a lot of our customers, they're going to want to charge at home, right? This is charging in the workplace is really great to provide to your employees, but a lot of our customers are charging at home. So we have the same kind of programs for home. So if you want to upgrade your home wiring to a level 2 charger, I know everybody here is sort of an EV expert, but level 2 charging, right? Like some people always ask me, can I just plug in my car to my home outlet? And yeah, I guess you could. It would take you about 11 to 20 hours to fully charge your car. So we actually help pay to upgrade your home so you can put in a level 2 charger, and that gets you a full charge in 3 to 8 hours. So you can charge your car overnight, and then the next morning you have a full tank to go on, to your work. So we have programs at home, programs for all of our commercial customers. If you offer public charging to the general public, we also have programs to support that. So if you want more information, evs.excelenergy.com. Our vision is to have 1 in 5 EVs in our territory by 2030. So that's 8 years from now. It's a pretty big goal. And then by 2050, we want to power all of our EVs with carbon-free energy. So we have some pretty strong goals, but we also have a lot of programs to help meet those goals. So again, if you have more questions, evs.excelenergy.com, or you can come find me. And then Monica's also here from our team. She's been working with Lashida to get this site, set up. Thank you.
Yes, thank you. Thank you so much.
Closer to the building. Yeah, it's up closer to the building.
Oh, get in there.
Women Charge Plus. Thank you. You guys, thank you so much for coming out today. Help us eat empanadas and donuts. And special thanks to Volkswagen, Active Body, and
Can you sit in? Can we drive?
yeah, Volkswagen will be happy to talk to you. And we're happy to answer questions.
That was probably.
Well, I'm walking out of this ribbon cutting event, and it was really great because I passed out 2 EV thank yous, scanned the QR code, and see my YouTube channel. One lady said I'd be great for an interview for the press, and I'm like, sure.